universal style of play. And as the players are ready, they're set. I think that's exactly what Anish will be looking for with white as early as possible. Maximize your chances. Don't go for the safety first approach. Don't be cautious early on. And as soon as you can, make it muddy on the board.
Right, well, Anish now being pressured to make it muddy with the white pieces. Let's see how it goes. Knight F3, B3 this time around.
And cool fun fact here, the players were so impatient to get game 2 going that they started prematurely, and we go again, but these are the exact moves they played last time as well. A short think here for Anish Giri, who develops his bishop. Not the most direct of openings here, Tanya.
Absolutely, and I think apart from what the strategy Anish will have with the white pieces in this one, it's also going to be time management. He was behind on the clock for the majority of the game, under 1 minute in that previous game, and unable to defend despite having some complication and despite having the fight in that material imbalance. So extremely important for Anish to keep the pace on the clock.
All right, well, let me ask both of you a question in principle. Because you're playing 2 games back to back like this, it's not like you can go away and take a look at your database and sort of plan some new opening ideas. So you have to prepare and you have to get ready with what you've got in the bank already. Knowing that, what are some other techniques other than opening that you can have to keep controlling your time? Is there something else that you can do other than database prep?
Well, there are other things I think players often do rely, especially Anish, on this opening prep. There are systems though, he's gone for something non-direct. I think he just wants to keep the tension, get in the flow, build his way into this game. In the previous encounter, we saw how speedy both players were in the first 10-15 moves.
Sure.
We kind of blinked and they were already into the middle game. Here, it's going to be all pieces on the board and maximum tension. Anish playing the first dozen or so moves here super quickly. And, a very different nature of the game. So if you can't rely on knocking your opponent out in the opening, at least test them in a different style of position.
So lots of tension here, nice and positional. We finally see a capture in the middle of the board. We have the pawns getting traded on the e-file. The pawn structure still looks identical for both players. Are we able to now ascertain, okay, this is what the kind of theme going into the middle game would be, whether white or black or both are going to be pressing on opposite sides of the board? What do we think we're looking at here?
Yeah, traditionally we would call this setup that white has gone for the King's Indian attack. That's mirrored by the King's Indian defense on the black side, where you have a light squared bishop in front of your king, you have this nice healthy pawn structure. Usually it is white attacking on the king side, the flank that both kings have castled here. It takes a bit of build up though, the knight gets out of the way first, maybe to put
be left hanging.
So it's not necessarily the flashiest move on the board, but it actually is a statement to say, hey, there's an imbalance left in this position. Let me get rid of the knight and bishop and make this as equal as humanly possible, just to drive the point home that there is no opportunity left for you to win this game.
Yeah, his name might be Maxime, short for maximum, but he was going for the minimum there. He just wants the draw, and the black rook is going to step up one square. As Tanya pointed out, that rook is now going to go and grab white's pawns, sitting pretty and undefended on the right flank. Unfortunately, that white A pawn, Tanya, these rook's pawns, they just run so slow. It's not going to be quick enough for Anish Giri here.
I mean, Anish just has to burn his house down. He shouldn't care about the right side. Use his king. We see one trade. Take that pawn, take the pawn back with your rook, and then you want to start pushing your own king forward, trying to deflect the black rook from defending it. And now Maxime has his own counterplay with the f pawn eventually moving forward. But eventually, I say, while the king advances first, it's the rook which needs to stay connected to the a4 pawn.
That black G pawn is running. We're going to see king versus king as the most likely outcome here. Again, not good enough for Anish Giri. Maxime calculating whether he can push the G pawn. Or just trade everything. Cynical, you might say, but very, very effective right now.
You could say, look, once these trades take place, yes, there are still opportunities for black to win, but like you guys said, it becomes easier to calculate all of that out without the distractions, without the additional elements on the board. And when those don't exist, you're not going to get a player of this caliber messing that up 999 times out of 1,000. That's just going to be a dead draw.
Yeah, this is bullet time for Anish Giri under the 1 minute mark, but white rook will give itself up for the black pawn, the black rook give itself up for the white pawn. We're heading towards a dead draw here, fully equal, and the players just going through the motions. The clock, not the biggest factor for once here.
And then we see that plan being played out. The white rook will be forced, and it is handshakes. Maxime Vachier-Lagrave takes the match victory.
So that is it by a scoreline of 1.5 to 1.5. MVL will take the victory in this group, and he moves top 4 now. Anish Giri, of course, second chance in the lower game in a little bit, but right now it's all about MVL, who moves into the upper bracket game in their group. It will be interesting to see how they